What's up, everybody? I'm Kansu, and you're watching Crystal Corner Television Channel, where I bring you different spiritual tips, tricks, and hacks, and try to bridge the gap between your spirituality and your reality, which is the world we live in. Nature, the Neteru, the Netchers, what we call them in the Kemetic pantheon. Um, I'm an oracle. I do readings. I am accepting customers or clients rather for readings. I also do distance Reiki alignments, as well as plenty other things. And I will link my websites in the description below, as well as my Instagram, which is Crystal Corner. If that sounds like something you're interested in. Haven't been on here in a while. Hope everyone is doing great. I am wonderful. This little what do they call it? The little quarantine thing we got going on right now, I feel was perfect. It's amazing. I'm so glad this happened. I mean, yes, on one level it looks really messed up, but on another level, man, everybody needed to take time out to go within. If you did, if you meditate, if you do yoga, Reiki, or any other spiritual practice, you know what I'm talking about. Um, you know, Sometimes we're so busy it's hard for us to tap in. It's hard for us to go and hear the messages that we need to hear from the other side. It's hard for us to be consistent in our work and consistently work with our ancestors or our rishas or our netars or our devas or whatever you call them. You know what I mean? So us not being able to go to work, for those of us that still work a 9 to 5, for those of you that are essential, you've noticed probably a decrease. Some depending on the place, sometimes you might be an increase in your work volume. But for those of us that are in quarantine right now, I'm speaking specifically to you. How many of you prior to this felt really stressed out or felt anxious or felt pressure in your head? Some of you might feel like you've already had this thing before, and I feel like I did back in December, um, which was pretty much just like a flu-like illness that happens every time the heartbeat of the earth steps up a pace, right? When the heartbeat of the earth dictates the vibration that we have. So since 2012, which was, what is it, 2020? You do the math. It was some years back. I don't feel like doing math right now. It's too early in the morning. Um, 2012 was 8 years ago. We started to feel an increase of vibrations, and every year since then, we've been talking about, at least on my journey, I've been on my journey for about 12 years now, since about 2010. Well, 10 years, yeah, 10 years, 10 years, 2010. My math is all messed up. Bear with me. Um, was when I started, tapping into crystals and started to work with meditation. Something just told me to do it. And I've been riding that wave. And every year you would notice that you would like start to get a little bit sick or like feel like you got the flu, but you're fine. Probably like around October, November, December. I live in Ohio, so our weather starts to change then too, so it's pretty common. But what I started to notice was every year, that illness would get a little bit worse for people that hadn't already picked up the wave. And back in 2016, 2017, we had a full solar eclipse, and everybody was going outside to go look at the eclipse and burning their eyes and doing stupid shit, in my opinion, excuse me, doing stupid stuff. So um, I was in my office and I decided I'm gonna meditate on this. And what I got from that meditation when I was in my office was we're coming into an alignment. There's energy that's coming to the planet right now that is serving to unlock our highest potential, to bring us our highest reality. The dimensions are splitting. Third dimension is merging with the fifth dimension, and they're starting to split. Well, it's already merged, so they're starting to split now. Okay, so the way that we manifest things becomes different. Um, from the third dimension, what is the third dimension? It's just ranges of motion, right? So in the third dimension, we can go left, right, up, down, like front, back. Give me left, right, front, back, up, down. Those are your three dimensions. It's like the cube. Fifth dimension and fourth dimension and all the higher dimensions above the third communicate to you through different angles. It's different lights, right? It's different waves that we don't necessarily have access to. We do have access to them, but there's a delay. Why? Well, when you're coming from fifth dimension, the things that you think about, the things and emotions that you feel, the environments that you put yourself in start to dictate and almost immediately manifest those things in your life, which is why it's really important, once again, like I said, to use this time to go within, just meditate and figure out what it is that you need to do. Ask yourself. You've been putting out that energy for so long to the world. Oh, I want a new car. Oh, I want a new job. Oh, I want to move. Oh, I want to find the love of my life. But you haven't taken the time to call it in. Anybody that does chakra meditations and things like that knows on a basic level that we start from the root chakra and work ourselves up to the crown chakra. I think it's on this city somewhere. Yeah, okay. There's the chakras. So you work your way from the root to the crown. Okay? That is how you send energy out because it's going out from your crown, right? Because of the wavelengths and energy that we're taking on as these dimensions shift, as Earth steps up its heartbeat, we need to ride that wave too. If you don't have the ability to ride that wave, you'll get sick. It's like you're not calibrated right. It's like playing a video game and your controller doesn't work right. There's a lag on your Wi-Fi playing the duty. Like you're trying to shoot and it's like, ah, and then it turns. That's how things is gonna work. So if you can't catch that wave and ride it, it's not 5G they're doing. It's a 5G versus 5D. Okay, we're leveling up. So one of the best ways to practice your visualization, which is a major tool in meditation, but also manifestation and controlling your thought process, is to simply listen to music. What I like to do is I like to lay down or sit somewhere comfortable. Hell, if I feel like it when I'm driving, I listen to everything with headphones in. Um, I'll visualize a whole music video in my head, and it's easy for me because I grew up in the '90s, early 2000s, where we had videos on TV. So some of the old stuff I listened to, like Missy Elliott, or Outkast, or Mobb Deep, Goody Mob, Jay-Z, Nas, those old videos, Ludacris, Nelly, shit like that. Excuse me once again. It's easy for me to see those videos. And what I started to realize was that's the same way that you put together a visualization to make something happen. So you can use the same music if you want. Like, let's say I'm listening to something by Ludacris and the song might just so happen to be like, what's your fantasy? Instead of him talking about what his fantasy is, you meditate and visualize you in the video living out what your fantasies are. If you start to do that, you'll start to manifest that. And I want y'all guys to go ahead and practice that. Comment below what you think. Comment below your experiences once you've done them. If you would like a consult for me to help walk you through it, I am a meditation guide, so I will actually work with you and meditate with you through that if you're interested. It's just a real quick message, I don't know what I'm going to call this video yet, but I would say that using your visualization skills is probably one of the most major keys to manifesting your new life, to riding the wave, to leveling up. Because that's the whole purpose here. I mean, nobody wants to stay stagnant. Everybody wants to make it. Times like this, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So what are you going to do to make yourself rich? Stop sitting on your talents. Start manifesting your life. This is the perfect time to do it. The veil is gone. Those of you that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. The veil isn't there anymore. So be careful what you say. Be careful what you think, because it will pop up. Learn to control that. How do you control that? By practicing visualizations, by listening to music and watching the music video. Put a story together in your head so that when you do go to meditate on what you want, you know how that faculty works. You've exercised it. It's a muscle, guys. Your pineal gland is a muscle. You have to work it. If you don't move it, you lose it. And like my grandpa said, slow traffic always moves to the right, but we over here on the left hand path. So put the pedal to the gas, stop playing with yourself, and let's make some things happen, man. Let's make these changes happen. I'm Kansu, and I'm gonna get at y'all at a later date. Peace.